Hey, I'm Brian Miller, magician and motivational speaker. If you're a regular subscriber, thanks so much for sticking with me, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. It's Friday, and that means today is a Q&A. Woo! I don't know what that was. Also, it's Monday, and I knew I wasn't gonna have time later this week to film this, so let's just pretend it's Friday. Nothing is real. And speaking of nothing being real, here's a question I get a lot. Do you always know how a magician does their tricks? In other words, when you're watching another magician, can you always figure it out? Can you spoil it for yourself? Can you ruin it for yourself? And the answer, thank goodness, is no. I don't always know how a magician's tricks work. In fact, I rarely know how a magician's tricks work. When I became a professional magician, I decided that I would only learn the tricks, I would only learn the secrets, I would only acquire the knowledge that I needed to do the tricks, to do the magic that I wanted to perform. If there was a trick that I saw somebody do or I heard about and I thought that was amazing and I realized, how did he do that? Unless it was the kind of thing that I thought I might want to put into my act or I might need to learn to work on something, I stayed away from learning the secret. I feel like I'm in the minority of magicians, and I don't say that as a good thing or a bad thing. I just feel like I'm in the minority because more often than not, when I'm hanging out with other magicians, particularly my friends and colleagues and the people that I look up to, mentors and, kind of heroes of mine, they all seem to know way more about magic than I do. I guess they don't seem to know more about magic than I do, but they certainly seem to know a lot more tricks, a lot more secrets, a lot more ways of accomplishing the tricks. I'll be sitting with a group of magicians or one magician or 5 or 10, and they're all talking about this trick and remember that secret from 96, remember XYZ magician did that in 83, and this random page in this old book where he described, and I'm always just there like, I have no idea what any of this means. I don't believe that I have a small amount of magic knowledge. I certainly have a large amount of magic knowledge, but the amount of knowledge that I have in magic is specific to my act, to the kind of magic that I want to put into my show. And some of that goes back to my mentor in magic when I was 19, 20, and I got to study under a world-renowned magician. And one of the things he told me once, he said, every so often, go out and get your ass kicked by magic. And what he meant by that was, every so often, go out and find some magician somewhere who's way better than you and is more amazing than anything you've ever seen, and experience magic. Because the idea is that the longer you've been in magic, and the more you learn and the more you perform, the less often you get to feel the experience of being fooled, of experiencing wonder. And when you're in magic for a while and you forget, you start to forget what wonder feels like. I've done this trick 1,000 times. I've done that trick 10,000 times. I know how it's going to go. I know all the different things that might happen. I know what this dude's probably going to say. I know that that girl's going to make the same snappy comeback that every person makes at this point in the trick. You get to that point. Now, that's being a professional, right? That's learning everything there is to know about your act and how to handle any audience and anything that happens at any time. The point is that when you're a professional, you master your act. And what comes with that is this limiting perspective that actually I spoke about in my TEDx talk. If you haven't seen that or don't know what I'm talking about, I'll throw that up here for you. But that idea that a magician has a limiting perspective because I know the secrets, at least of the things that I'm doing. And the more you learn secrets, the less you feel magic. But what my mentor was trying to get across to me all those years ago was that if you forget what magic feels like, you're not going to be able to give that experience, to give that feeling to your audiences. So every so often, go out and get your ass kicked by magic. It was a great way of making his point. And that's one of the primary reasons that I've learned only as much as I need to about magic in order to do my act and make a living and do a great show for my audiences. So the answer is no, I don't know how many magicians are doing many tricks. If I see a magician doing a card trick 9 out of 10 times, I could reverse engineer it. If I see someone doing a coin trick, probably 9 out of 10 times I can reverse engineer it. I know a lot about card magic, I know a lot about coin magic, but I've never been a kid's magician. I've never done one of those kind of colorful, boxy looking, kids tricks. And as silly as this sounds, I'm fooled by all of them. I've never done them. I've never looked up how they work. If you were a kid's magician and I sat at the back of the room of a 6 or 7-year-old magic show, I'd probably be fooled by a lot of it. And I think there's something wonderful in that. I get to, more often than many magicians, experience what it feels like to be on the receiving end of magic. And I hope that that has helped me be a better magician for my audiences and give that experience to my audiences. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this for Friday Q&A. If you've got questions for me for a future Q&A, leave them in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this or you're enjoying my videos in general, please do hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and always remember that our world is a shared experience. Have a great day. Catch you guys later. That would help me accomplish the magic that I wanted to perform. I would never... When I became a professional magician,